that's enough of that. What can I say? It's Eric Arnold, the Big E, and it was a good night tonight. 3 wins, 1 loss. I think somewhere I said one time, betting is trying not to get too high when you win, not to get too low when you lose. But you know what? Like Ricky Gervais said, we're all going to die soon anyways, and there's no sequel. So what the hell? If you're happy, let's dance. Besides, I thought I'd try to put a little music in the video just to see what would happen. Just to see if the YouTube police would come get me. But at any rate, it's 10 after 12 on Thursday. God. Days run together. But as I said, we had a little luck tonight. 3 wins, 1 loss. We got a couple games for you on Thursday. Got a few other tidbits I just wanted to speak about. So let's get to it. DePaul gets it done, only losing by 7 at Seton Hall. Very impressed with the Seton Hall team. Even when they don't have their best, they still get it done. Probably we got lucky here a little bit because Seton Hall missed a ton of free throws, enabling DePaul to just kind of hug up to them close there. At the end, Seton Hall just said, all right, that's enough. And, they kicked it in, and, DePaul got lucky to cover. So, luck! If they put that on my tombstone, he was lucky rather than good. I suppose I'd be okay with that. St. Joe's, we took Billy Lang and we gave him a chance, and he totally did not get it done. Losing 91-76 at UMass. After I cut the video last night, it dawned on me, I misspoke. I said that St. Joe's and LaSalle were roughly the same team, and LaSalle had beaten UMass. They did not beat UMass. That was George Washington. LaSalle had played close at Rhode Island. Not that any of that shit matters. But St. Joe's not getting it done. Loss. This was our top play of the night. I guess us and the rest of the college basketball world were on this one. Because I had that down at 4.5. That thing skyrocketed up to 7. So the whole world said either Fordham sucks or St. Bonaventure's good. Probably the former. And St. Bonaventure must have played worth a shit tonight because they got incredibly lucky. Game went to overtime. Nobody could make a shot. I mean, how many overtime games do you see with a score like that? 62-55. Nobody could score. But when it went to OT, St. Bonaventure was able to hold down for them. They couldn't score. And then, you get on that seesaw where now they're fouling you and we're making 3 points. And come on, go. You can do this. This is a top-rated play by God. And we got it done. 3 stars, winner. Lucky. Hooray. And then lastly, we had Mercer from Macon, Georgia. Did I get that right? Getting 15 points at East Tennessee State. And they just go ahead and win the whole damn thing outright, 71-55. I said last night, East Tennessee State, this is kind of a nothing game, and the committee's not going to care. Well, they're not going to care if you win by 3 or 4. They're going to care if you lose. I mean, Jesus. So, they probably just blew their tournament bid there, just on a January night, Wednesday, January night. Now probably some, know-nothing mid-May or middle of pack power team will get in there like Ohio State that shouldn't. But Mercer winning outright. Hooray for us. Hooray, hooray. Some thoughts on the college basketball season so far. There's certain teams here. I wrote down the top 20. And things are starting to heat up tonight. I mean, there was a quadruple overtime game. George Washington beating Davidson. And, we're big George Washington fans, believe it or not. And I'll tell you that story some other time because I don't want this video to run 30 minutes. Arkansas in a very tough game They lost at the buzzer. A double overtime game there between Marquette and Xavier. So we're getting some real intensity here in the middle of the season. I think everybody kind of realizes the same thing, that it's a free-for-all this year. I mean, there is no super team. Anybody can get this. This is anybody's game. Teams I'm impressed with. Baylor. You know, they went up to Iowa State. That's a tough place to play. They kicked their ass tonight. Baylor is just, you know, they're the number one team in the country. Nobody believes it. They don't see that team as good. But they just keep winning easily. It's not close. I'm impressed with Kansas. Not so much impressed with San Diego State. I view that team as having a certain ceiling. Louisville, I like them. Villanova, I'm rooting for Villanova. I don't know that we'll see about them. You know, if they start blowing people out, then look out. Then that could be another Jay Wright, come out of nowhere, look out team. Duke is always a threat. I like Seton Hall. I don't like West Virginia. They got beat tonight. If West Virginia really had something, they would have gone down to Lubbock tonight and they would have got that game. But instead, they got beat. Michigan State, they'll be there almost certainly. Maryland, that does nothing for me. Yeah, those were the top 15, and nobody below that really jumps out at me. So there were some thoughts on college basketball. Here's a point I wanted to make. I don't know if you saw this. A betting tip or something to think about when you bet. There was a scene last night at Duke in Coach Krzyzewski. They're playing Pitt at home, and they've got all their, Cameron crazies there with their cute little chants and whatnot. And they're playing Pitt, just also ran in the ACC. But Pitt is coached by Jeff Capel, who used to be a player for Krzyzewski. He used to be an assistant, I believe, for Krzyzewski. And the students are doing some kind of cute little chant at Capel. I believe it was something along the lines of, Jeff Capel, come sit with us. Jeff Capel, come sit with us. Which, as far as chants go, it's pretty benign. They're not telling him, go fuck yourself or something like that. I mean, it's pretty tame. Well, for whatever reason, Krzyzewski, now his story is he misheard them. Well, he flips out on him. I mean, he goes over and stands right in front of him and yells at the top of his lungs at him. And I believe what he yelled at him was, he's one of us. He's one of us. And so, I guess if I'm a Pitt fan or alumni, I'm thinking, well, who Jeff Capel, is he one of them, or is he work for me, or is he one of me? I don't know. His loyalties to me would be in question. But that's not my point. My point is that in betting, you got to figure out who knows who. So, I will point out, Pitt covered the spread relatively easily. So the question is, Krzyzewski knows he's going up against one of his friends, and college basketball is pretty much like any other business. You need friends. Even Bobby Knight had friends. Somebody, if you think that guy's totally unlikable, nobody liked him. No, not so much. A lot of people like Bobby Knight. So you need friends, you need allies, and if that's one of your friends or your proteges, you might not just go out for blood to grease them, even though he has an inferior team. I mean, what does it gain you to slaughter him by 30, 35 points? Now he's embarrassed. You've got him in trouble with his team, with his players, with his alumni, with his AD. What does that help you? He's your friend. He's your ally. So, for example, in football, Nick Saban does this, where, you got to fill the schedule with out-of-conference games. Most of the big teams bring in tomato cans just so they can get an easy tune-up win. They don't want, their in-conference schedule is hard enough. So they don't want some really tough game, so they get their buddy to come in here, their protege. They're a guy who's at a smaller conference, a smaller school. He's working his way up the coaching food chain. You know, you're favored by 4 touchdowns over this guy, and you can beat him by whatever score you want. Well, just take it easy on him. There's no point in beating that guy 60-0. It's going to embarrass him. He's not coming back either. When you call him up a year or two from now and say, hey, you want to come down and play us on the such and such 2 years from now? He's going to hang up. So that happens. You know, that happens. You look for that. You know, who knows who? Are these guys buddies? And, you know, that may influence who you pick. So there's your gambling tip of the night. I'm winning. I feel like I can give you tips. Why not? And like I said, there's always another losing streak around the corner. And whether or not you dance or not has nothing to do whether that losing streak is going to hit you. It is. And then you're just going to have missed an opportunity to dance. So, there. Okay, I think what we're going to do is the Super Bowl. We're going to cut that one, probably the Friday video. That'll be the Super Bowl. So, you know you're going to want to hear that. We're going to have at least 2 picks for the Super Bowl. I don't do over-unders if you figured it out. I'll tell you that if you haven't already figured it out. I mean, I have a hard enough time telling you who's going to win, who's going to cover the spread. Now you want me to tell you how they're going to win? Are they going to score a lot of points, or are they not going to score points? I don't know. My model doesn't tell me that. I don't know that. So I don't know that stuff. But I'm going to definitely give you the winner, the cover the spread, and we're going to give you the winner of the national anthem. That's probably the easiest prop bet there is. And I'm pretty good at that one. So we're definitely going to have those 2. We'll do that Friday. If I have enough energy, we'll cut a video probably Sunday night and give you the winners of the Iowa caucuses. That's on Monday, in case you didn't know. I noted if you watched any of that Baylor-Iowa State game, you were inundated with commercials. My thought was, Elizabeth Warren's family thinks she's the most honest person in the world. I'm not sure that's a selling point. I wonder if Charles Manson said that, or, well, that's not fair. Let me take that back. I do not equate Elizabeth Warren with Charles Manson. That was something stupid to say. Let's see, what else? Joe Biden looked old. Trying to think. Pete Buttigieg, I thought he cut a pretty good commercial. So, you know, I thought to myself, why am I even watching these commercials? Half of these people are going to drop out by the Pennsylvania primary. But they were on, so I had to watch them. So, all right, new business. Let's see. Tomorrow, that is the Sun Belt, I believe. Louisiana Lafayette getting 10. In the time it took me, since I handicapped this around supper time, to the time when I got out here, this was at 12. It's now at 10. So somebody thinks I'm in the right neighborhood. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if that line floated upwards. In other words, somebody pounded it down to 10, and then, you know, maybe somebody would come in on the other side and push it up. So it wouldn't surprise me if that goes up. But at any rate, right now it's 10, so that's what we got, 10. Texas at Arlington, 9 and 12, 105. Now that I don't understand that one. You got a team in a mid-major, the Sun Belt. They got a losing record, and Ken Pomeroy thinks they're one of the top third teams in the country. I mean, who these guys been playing? I mean, Kansas, Duke, Michigan State. I mean, I don't know. That just seems weird to me. Well, anyway, we're taking Lafayette. We'll take the 10. You know, that seems weird. 10 points. Look at that. Bill Parcells would be all over this one. Don't think we like the coach at Lafayette. So that's why we're putting 1 star on this one. Okay, number next. NC Wilmington, this is their last chance with me. They're getting 11 at Towson. This one, a lot of things line up for Wilmington, but they have a coach we do not like. He already lost once for us, but we're going to go back with him. We're going back with him for 2 stars. Like I said, we probably will drop Wilmington off the map if they lose this one. And then lastly, a West Coast game. UC Santa Barbara, 13-7, 170, -1.5 at Cal State Northridge. They're 8-14, 254. I found out something I didn't know. There's a guy that used to coach at North Carolina State for many years, Mark Gottfried, who they ultimately then fired because I guess he just couldn't beat Duke enough times, or Roy Williams. He is the coach here at Cal State. So I'm not sure that matters. This is the better team. They played at Cal Northridge. Well, I'm sorry, they played at Santa Barbara, maybe a week or 2 ago, and Northridge beat them. Which we're looking at that as just an accident. You know, it was, for us, it was just one of those nights that the good team just didn't have it, and they stubbed their toe against the bad team. Now, 2 weeks later, the good team's got a chance to avenge that loss, and we think that's what's going to happen. Is they're going to go in there and they're going to hammer these guys. So that is the thinking there. 2 stars on that. So that's what we got for you. That's what we got for you here on early Thursday morning or Wednesday morning. See, this handicapping these games like a day in advance fouls you up. But at any rate, it is early Thursday morning. Yeah, it does foul you up. So that's what we got. But I noted that we had a 14th subscriber. So welcome, subscriber 14, whoever you are. I've been looking all over the Google or the YouTube, back pages there, the YouTube studio, to figure out who's who, and I can't. I don't think it tells you. So a lot of you are anonymous to me, but that's okay. We're all friends now, especially if we're winning, right? So tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell anybody. We'll get the views up eventually. My theory is, if you build it, they will come. And like I said, these videos, for no other reason, serve as proof. So if I say to somebody, hey, I got a 55% winning record against the spread, and they go, bullshit, I got proof. And now, of course, if the proof says I'm like 49%, well, I don't know. I'm not sure what we do with that. I'll make up some bullshit, but it is what it is. Your winning percentage is your winning percentage, and I think that is a selling point. Everything's out in the open here. There are no hidden games. Subscriber X asked me about that. He said, well, what about games that you don't have on video? No, they're all on video. If I'm not making secret picks behind the scenes, that would be cheating, and those would all be winners, believe me. That would be cheating, so we're not doing that. At any rate, long video, I guess. Let's cut it off. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again. Recap. Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette, NC Wilmington, UC Santa Barbara. 1 star, 2 stars, 2 stars. There you have it. Thank you, and I'll see you again.